Together. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudire nashtaprayasu bhadresu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavate tam shloke Bhaktir bhavati naistikim mukham karoti vachalam pangum langhayate givim yatkripatamam vande Shri Krishna Paramanandamadhavam Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Mandamati Gati Matsarvasya Radhamadanamohano Divyad Vrindaranyakabrumada Shrimad Ratnagara Simhasanasto Shrimad Radha Shriravrindadeyo Presthalibhi Sevya Manosmarami Shrimad Rasarasaram Vamsi Vata Tatha Stitaha Karasanavenu Svaneyogi Gopinatha Shristunaha Ajanulambito Bhujo Kanakavadato Sankirtane Kapitalo Amanayataksho Vishwamvaro Dvijavaro Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagatiyakaro Karunaya Vataro Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasani Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare. There are 4 types of bhakti one can do. One is the very basic ritualistic bhakti. मतलब जो लोग संडे टू संडे आते हैं, 4 types of bhakti. So the first type is when you come on a Sunday on your way to lunch. Your purpose is to have lunch. Your purpose is to go out. But then you think, let me go to the temple and 15-20 मिनट के लिए हम भगवान को नमस्कार करते हैं, दर्शन करते हैं. That's the first level. It's customary. क्योंकि हमारा एक आदत बन चुका है पहले से, तो इसलिए हम करते हैं. We do it because we know it's good for us. The second level of bhakti is we do it a little bit more than what is just coming to the temple and offering our obeisances. घर में थोड़ा पूजा भी करते हैं. We might do some meditation, we might do some yoga. मतलब yoga मतलब bhakti yoga. That's the second level that we do a little bit at home. The third is that we do bhakti under the instruction of Guru. So we take shelter of a Guru. हम गुरु की शरण पा करके जो Guru कहते हैं, whatever the Guru instructs us under his shelter, we do it because he's requesting us to do so. That is known as Vidhi Bhakti, under the instruction of Guru. But one thing is there, that in these three levels of bhakti, one will not experience more pleasure than what is available necessarily within the material world. In Vidhi Bhakti, however, you can experience additional pleasure, but in the first two stages, we will not experience the ananda which is available. Because bhakti can be with nectar and bhakti can be without nectar. कभी कभी हम भक्ति करते हैं, लेकिन भक्ति का जो अमृत का जो धारा है, जो हृदय में आना चाहिए, वो कभी नहीं आता. Which means that bhakti is nice. जब हम करते हैं, हमको थोड़ा शांति मिलता है. But it's also nice when we go to the beach. We have a nice experience when we go to the beach, and we have a nice experience when we do bhakti. We have a nice experience when we go out for dinner, and we have a nice experience when we come and have prasad. Because really, our understanding of bhakti is still quite on the external platform. But as soon as bhakti becomes deep, and how does bhakti become deep? If you don't associate with people who themselves are very deep, then our bhakti will remain on the shallow side of the ocean. Many times, people go to the ocean to experience the depth of the ocean. The deeper the ocean, the deeper the experience. Some people who have gone diving in the ocean, you know, when they wear all their gear and they go deep sea diving, that experience is very different from just staying in the first 50 meters and just swimming here and there. वो एक अनुभव अलग सा है. इसलिए अगर हमको सही प्राप्ति चाहिए, एक गहरा प्राप्ति चाहिए, तो हमको एक अनोखा भक्ति का मार्ग पकड़ना पड़ेगा. How do you catch that? Where do you develop the desire to catch a deep level of bhakti? And that is the association of devotees who themselves are deep. ठीक है, हम आ सकते हैं. We can come to the temple, we can come here for 20 minutes, offer our obeisances, we can do 1 round, 4 rounds, 8 rounds at home. That's even good. It's better than doing nothing. But if we want to experience bhakti, which is so deep that all other material engagements seem paltry, वो फीका लगता है उसके सामने, तो वरिष्ठ साधु के संग प्राप्त करना चाहिए हमको, नहीं तो नहीं होगा. We have to really think, what is our desire? What is our goal? These same rishis and munis were asking Chitraketu Maharaj the same thing. What is your desire and what is your goal? We got to this point in this morning's katha that Vritrasur had swallowed all of the astras, all of the weapons of the demigods. देवता लोग ने आकर आक्रमण किया वित्रासुर पे, डर के मारे. They got so fearful that immediately every demigod fired their weapons. And what did Vritrasur do? He swallowed all of them. मतलब उसका प्रहास का तिरस्कार किया उसने. फिर क्या हुआ? They all lost their power, they lost their ability, they lost their desire to fight, they lost their opulences, they lost everything. So they all went to Vishnu. The Lord appeared. तो दो श्लोक में भगवान पहले तो the Lord says he gives the asurs, he gives the devtas the solution to getting their opulence back, to getting Svargalok back. But then in two shloks, the Lord says to the demigods that after attaining me, those people who ask for material benedictions are not very evolved or intelligent people. देखो ध्रुव महाराज का स्थिति देखो. It was exactly opposite to the demigods in this particular situation. Dhruv Maharaj was a 5-year-old boy. He wanted a kingdom which was even bigger than his father, because Uttanapad Maharaj wanted to take Dhruv, his eldest son, onto his lap. Uttam, who was his younger son but from another wife, Suruchi, was playing on his lap. So Dhruv Maharaj thought, let me also play on my father's lap. So when he tried to tell his father, ऐसे इशारा करते हैं ना कि हम भी ऊपर आना चाहते हैं आपके गोद में. So he was just about to do it, but then he looked at Suruchi. And Suruchi at that time said some very harsh words. She said, Yadi Rajya Ichhasi, if you have desire to become the king, then you have to take birth in my womb. And then, once you take birth in my womb, because I'm the real queen, then you can actually become the king in the future. Matlab, there was no logic to this, because Uttam was already the eldest son. So even if Dhruv Maharaj became the son of Suruchi, he couldn't have been the king. But she was so angry with the fact that Uttam wouldn't be the king if Dhruv Maharaj would stick around. So Dhruv Maharaj asked her, what is the way for me to take birth in your womb? So the one good thing that Suruchi said was, she said, you have to worship the Supreme Lord Narayan. By his grace, you will take birth in my womb, and then you can think about becoming the king. मतलब ये एक व्यंग था. This was a diversion tactic. So then he went crying to his mother, Suniti, who was the elder wife, and he said to Suniti that this is what Suruchi has said to me. So Suniti was really hurt in the beginning, and then she wiped Dhruv Maharaj's tears, she wiped her own tears, and then she said to him, देखो, सुरुचि ने जो भी कहा है, क्रोध में तुम सब बात भूल जाओ, forget everything. लेकिन एक बात पे ध्यान रखना. Just remember one thing which she said, which is right. Worship the Supreme Lord. If you want anything in this world, akama sarva kama, moksha kama udharati, divrena bhakti yogena yajet purusham param. Whether one has absolutely no desires, only spiritual desires, usko कहते हैं akama. Akama, sarva kama. Or if you have extremely materialistic desires. Or moksha kama. Your desire is not to attain the Lord. Your desire is not to attain anything from this world because it's temporary. आपका इच्छा है कि हम संसार के चक्कर से हम छूट जाएं. If that's your desire, any of these three, moksha kama udarati, tivrena bhakti yogena yajet purusham param. By doing bhakti, all of these three things can be fulfilled. So Suniti was reminding him of this principle that Dhruv Maharaj, you should do the same thing. Go and worship the Lord. Go to the forest. Dhruv Maharaj asked, where can I find the Lord? She says, I don't know, but I've heard that the Lord is available to those people who are in the forest. Everyone who attains the Lord goes to the forest. So Dhruv Maharaj, without making any further plans, no packing of his suitcase, no taking food with him, he didn't tell his mom, can you pack me some thepla, some sandwiches, कचौड़ी पैक कर दो हमारे लिए, हम रास्ते में काम आएगा, कुछ नहीं. Dhruv Maharaj ने बिना, और ये भी नहीं पूछा He didn't even ask him, where is, in which direction do I go? North, south, east, he just left. As soon as Suniti instructed him in this way. And because he left with so much surrender to worship the Lord, Narad Muni thought, let me help the situation. Narad Muni tested him, ultimately he gave him instructions. Dhruv Maharaj followed those instructions, and within 6 months, उसने भगवान का दर्शन पाया. 6 months. When he set out, first Narad Muni said to him, you shouldn't worry about all these things like a kingdom and all of that. He said to him, I know your father personally, I'll talk to him. मैं उसके साथ बात करूँगा. वो आधा राज्य उत्तम को दे देगा और आधा राज्य तुमको. He'll give you half. Let's do 50-50. Dhruv Maharaj said, I'm not even interested in this petty kingdom. He goes, what do you want? He goes, I want something which is even higher than what my grandfather, great-grandfather, Brahma has. Even higher than that. So Narad Muni didn't tell him this is all materialistic, beta, forget about all these things, one should anya bhilasita sunyam jnana karmanyanavitam anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. This is what Rupa Goswami says in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that don't jnana karma anyanavritam, don't go for jnana or karma. Uttam bhakti is pure devotion. Narad Muni didn't tell him those things. Narad Muni said, alright, if you want to attain the kingdom, this is how to do it. If you want such a big, अगर इतना बड़ा पद चाहिए तुमको, तो मैं एक उपाय बताता हूँ तुमको, कि भगवान का भजन करना और ऐसे करना. Because Narad Muni had faith that bhakti will purify him. So what happened was that when Dhruv Maharaj worshipped the Lord, he became so pure when he accepted the Lord that जब दर्शन हुआ भगवान का, and the Lord said, I will give you a planet which is even higher than Lord Brahma's planet. It will be equivalent almost to my planet. एक दूसरा वैकुंठ जैसे होगा. And Dhruv Maharaj felt extremely pained in his heart. He said that I want you, and you're giving me something so inferior. Bhagwan बहुत, he was so happy at Dhruv Maharaj's mood. So Dhruv Maharaj said, I left looking for a piece of broken glass, and actually हमको एक हीरा मिला. कांच का टुकड़े के लिए हम निकले थे, लेकिन मिला हीरा. So how can you now expect me to be happy with a broken piece of glass again? But the demigods, after attaining the Lord, they didn't say this. They prayed very nicely. उसका स्तुति बहुत अच्छा है. भगवान का काफी उसमें तत्व और सिद्धांत है. But the Lord said to them that after attaining me, how can you, in a way, भगवान एक बोल रहे थे that how can you ask for anything else? I'm very pleased by those people who don't ask for anything. And the demigods heard this and they didn't hear this. It's almost like they were saying, बात बिल्कुल सही है, लेकिन उपाय बताओ how to get our kingdom again. So the 2 shloks the Lord spoke to the demigods, but he understood that no matter even me telling them, जो Akhila Bhuvana Guru in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that Krishna is the Guru of the entire Shrishti. Guru is saying that you shouldn't ask for this, yet they said, thank you very much, we agree with your instructions, but can you tell us now how to gain our kingdom? इसलिए देवताओं को साकाम भक्त कहा गया है. The demigods are called sakam, they do sakama karma bhakti. Sakama bhakti. Which means that they do bhakti, but the purpose of their bhakti is to fulfill their material ambitions. तब भगवान ने कहा, भगवान निराश नहीं होते. प्रसाद अभिमुखम शाश्वत प्रसन्न वदनीक्षणम. नारद मुनि ध्रुव महाराज को कहते हैं कि जब तुम भगवान का ध्यान करो, then you should always see the Lord as Prasad Abhimukham. The Lord is always in front of you. So sometimes devotees ask when we're chanting, जब हम भगवान का जप करते हैं, how should we chant? So take the advice of Narad Muni, Prasad Abhimukham. as his prashad, as his remnants, as his mercy. Prashad means mercy. His merciful face is abhimukam, samne hai. So imagine that the Lord is smiling in front of you. Prashad abhimukam, shashvat, eternally prasanna vadan. The Lord is always happy, ikshana, and his eyes are ever ready to give mercy. And even if we ask the Lord for something material, the Lord doesn't feel unhappy. He'll give it. Prasanna chitta se Bhagavan dete hain. So the Lord said to the demigods, the only way to kill Vritrasur is first go to Dadhyan Muni. Dadichi Muni ke paas tum jao. Devtaon ne pucha, what is with Dadichi Muni? What is so special about Dadichi Muni? And they said that Dadichi Muni is a very self-realized person. And because of his tapa, because of his austerities, his bones are extremely strong and they've become immortal. Nobody can counteract those bones. So I'm giving you two things. I'm giving you the promise that you will be victorious, subject to you being able to obtain the bones of Dadichi Muni. And from those bones, ask Vishwakarma to make a new Vajra, to make a new thunderbolt, and that thunderbolt can be used then to kill Vritrasura. Then the demigods asked, why would Dadichi Muni give us his bones? Apna handi kyun denge humko? The body is so dear to everyone. Why will somebody give up their body? And even then, we don't have such a close relationship with him. In fact, on the contrary, Indra and Dadichi Muni don't have a very good history. Why? Because one time, Srila Prabhupada explains this in his purport. One time, there were two demigods which were known as the Ashwini Kumars. Ashwini Kumars are physicians, they're like doctors. But for some reason, Indra never gave them a lot of respect. He never gave them a very high pedestal within his entourage. In fact, even at the time of the Samudra Manthan, when Mohini Murti was distributing nectar, jab Amrit ka batwara ho raha tha na, so Indra basically told the Ashwini Kumars that you kahin kone mein baith jao. Yahan hai, hamare paas nahi. All the demigods were nicely lined up, but the Ashwini Kumars were in a corner. And Indra didn't want their prosperity. But the Ashwini Kumars had heard from various sadhus that if you want to learn transcendental knowledge, then you should go to Dadichi Muni. So one time the Ashwini Kumars approached Dadichi Muni and they said to him that, can you please teach us Brahma Vidya? Can you teach us transcendental knowledge? At that time, Dadichi Muni was doing a yajna. He was doing a fire sacrifice. So he said that I'm busy at the moment, so please come later. I'll teach you, but not right now. Main yajna mein vyast hu. Theek hai. So they said, okay, we'll come later. Meanwhile, Indra had heard that the Ashwini Kumars had approached Dadichi Muni for spiritual knowledge. And Indra didn't want them to progress, because as soon as you get spiritual knowledge, you become powerful. So at that time, Indra straight away went to Dadichi Muni and he said to him, I don't want you to teach these Ashwini Kumars koi adhyatmik vidya usko mat sikhana. Don't teach them anything spiritual. And Dadichi Muni asked why. He said, I have my own reasons, but if you teach them anything spiritual, I'll cut off your head with my vajra. Anand Prabhu is पहले से पता है, गला काट देंगे उसका. Now what to do? So then, Ashwini Kumars came back to the Dadichi Muni. And they said, are you ready now? And he said, I'm ready, but I can't teach you. And they said, why? They said, because Indra has already threatened us that if we teach you anything, he'll slice off my head. So he goes, I don't want to go through that. They said, we have a really good idea. We are physicians, right? Plastic surgery mein hum kafi nipun hain. Hum kya karte hain? They have quite an advanced level of plastic surgery. These days, plastic surgery is not very advanced compared to the Ashwini Kumars. Plastic surgery में क्या होता है? महिला लोग, पुरुष लोग, खास करके महिला लोग जाकर के, they just lift their cheeks a little bit, they lift their eyes a little bit, right? Simple things. They take some flesh from here, turn it into another location, अपना body का proportion थोड़ा change कर लेते हैं. But they were so good with plastic surgery, they said that we will take your head off and we will replace it with the head of a horse. Ashwa means horse, and Ashwini Kumar, they were also related. They had some connection. So they said, is Vidya mein, in this Vidya, we're really good. So we will be able to replace your head with the head of a horse, and through this, you can teach us spiritual knowledge. And then, when Indra comes and cuts your head off, then we will replace your original head and everything will be normal. So Dadichi Muni, because he was not attached to his body. Can you imagine if someone said right now that, Prabhu, I have a proposition for you. I'll cut off your head and I'll put the head of a goat, and you can do kirtan with the head of a goat because you're in danger. And then after the kirtan, we'll put your other head back. Can you imagine? Itna beizati hoga hamara, right? In society, how will people take us seriously with the head of a goat? Here we are trying to, sort out our hairstyles, parting एकदम ठीक तरह से होना चाहिए, हमारा look एकदम अच्छी, शोल भी अच्छी तरह से बैठना चाहिए हमारे शरीर में. We're so conscious of this body. Well, I am. But because Dadichi Muni was transcendental, he wasn't of this body. He said, ठीक है, विद्या ही तो देना है ना, लाओ घोड़े का मस्तक. And that's exactly what happened. So the Ashwini Kumars became the disciples of Dadichi Muni. So Lord Vishnu advised that if you ask for his bones, he might not give it. But if his shishyas will ask for his bones, then he'll happily give it. Because जब कोई शिष्य प्रिय होते हैं, students are very dear to the Guru. So when students ask for anything, it's happily given. So all the demigods went straight to Dadichi Muni. A lot of hope came in them. आशा से भर गए. तो सब लोग दध्यन मुनि के पास गए और प्रणाम करके सीधा बोले ददीची मुनि को. Straight away, they said that we have been sent here by Vishnu, and on Vishnu's order, he has asked us that you must give your bones. And I'll just say two of those shlokas because they're actually that Dadichi Muni speaks, because they're quite instructive. Just give me 1 second, please. Okay, I'm finding it will probably take me longer than I want to. So Dadichi Muni, first he just laughed at them. पहले तो हंसे एकदम कि अरे भाई, who will give their body to anybody? That's the first thing Dadichi Muni said. That you've come here, that's very good, but the body is very dear to everybody. Why would anyone give their body? The demigod said, it's not us who are asking. Matlab, demigods wanted it, but they put Vishnu in the middle. So they said, it's not us who are asking for your bones. Actually, Vishnu has instructed that you should give your bones to us. The Dichi Muni said, this body is so dear, itna priya hai ye sharir, that even if Vishnu was to ask for this body, nobody is prepared to give it. The demigod said, but Vishnu is the one who gave birth to you. Vishnu ने तुमको शरीर दिया है, भगवान ने तुमको शरीर दिया है, and still you don't want to give your body even to the person who has given you the body. You don't want to give it back to him? He said, no. Illusion is such that you don't even want to give the body back to the person who has given you this body. On a micro level, sometimes you can see this, right? Sometimes you give a child a toy, and the child starts playing with the toy, and you show the child, you buy the toy, you show the child how the toy operates, you buy the batteries for the toy, and then this child starts playing with the toy. It has no interest in the toy, but it starts playing, and suddenly the child thinks, this toy is my friend. This toy dog is my friend. And if you try and take this toy dog or this toy child away from your child, will your child give it? No. And even if you say that I bought this toy for you, I put the batteries, in fact, I'm the one who introduced this toy to you, will the child give it? No. Because it's into this illusion that this toy belongs to me. So the Dichi Muni was explaining very, the thought process of the mass of everyone. That we become in illusion, we become so attached to this body that we're not prepared to part with it under any circumstances. But in reality, the Dichi Muni was he was teasing the demigods, like young bulre. Ultimately then he said, actually, I will give it to you. Because the demigod said, why are you so attached to your body? If you're really a self-realized person, then why are you so attached to your body? What's the point of being self-realized then? So the Dichi Muni could have said to them in return, that why are you being demigod so attached to your body, that to protect your body, you want someone else's body, you want someone else to die just for your satisfaction. So the Dichi Muni said, you're right. In fact, I am going to give my body to you. You know why? Because I am going to die anyway. This body is going to die. And he gave them a very important instruction for all of us to follow. And he said, this body is going to die. Kisi kaam ka nahi hai. But if I can make this body useful by giving it for a good cause, so that you can kill Vritrasur, who is terrorizing all of you and is terrorizing the world, then that is a big blessing for me in my life. Main devtao ke kaam aa sakta hu. It's a very good thing. And then the Dichi Muni spoke what is known as Avyaya Dharma or Sanatan Dharma. He says, look, he said to the demigods, he said, I'm going to teach you something very simple. In 2 lines, I'm going to teach you Sanatan Dharma. So the demigod said, what is Sanatan Dharma? He said, to be happy in someone else's happiness and to be distressed in someone else's distress, this is Sanatan Dharma. One time, Srila Prabhupada was traveling in India, and there was his disciple sitting next to him. And Srila Prabhupada was just looking out the window for a long time. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would talk to his disciples, sometimes he might even nap a little bit, but this time he was just looking out the window. And the disciple was sitting there thinking to himself, I am so lucky. I'm just so lucky. I am sitting here with the greatest master in the globe, Srila Prabhupada. He's sitting next to me. I am the luckiest person in the world. Just look at my fortune. And he was just smiling and looking at Srila Prabhupada, but Srila Prabhupada's head was turned away. And suddenly, as he was just smiling to himself at his fortune, Srila Prabhupada turned his head and tears were just rolling down Srila Prabhupada's eyes. And he just looked at that devotee very gravely and he said, "Who will save all these people?" Because Srila Prabhupada could see that every single person, and it's true, when you go in a car, all you see is civilization. You just see people busy in their business. And if you have spiritual knowledge, you can see that people don't have spiritual knowledge. And so then how are they going to be benefited in their life? So compassion is a byproduct of one who follows Bhakti Dharma or Sanatana Dharma. When someone is upset, we become upset. When someone is happy, we are happy for them. It's easy to say, but for some people it's quite difficult to follow. Because when we see another person who's got better qualities than us, someone who speaks better than us, someone who does kirtan better than us, someone who dresses better than us, someone who looks better than us, someone who can cook better than us, then sometimes envy and jealousy creeps in. Then, let's say someone has made really amazing food, and then you eat the samosa that they've made, and someone says, "Isn't this one of the nicest samosas that you've ever eaten?" And then you say, "But have you ever, this is good, but have you ever tasted my samosas? Kabhi aapne chakha hai hamare samose ko?" So that's just a little display of envy, right? Just some little kind of thing that, yeah, theirs is good, but mine is, you never tasted mine. Narad Muni said, "Gunadikam mudam lipshe," which means that when you see someone who's got higher qualities than you, better qualities than you, guna adhikam, mudam means to be very happy. You should be happy that, you know, it's really nice that you've accumulated so much money. It's really nice that you've got an amazing house. It's really nice that you've got this big, beautiful car. It's amazing that you've got this ability to cook amazing food. It's amazing, it's very nice that you're able to talk to so many people and you're able to convince them. Point is, we should always recognize the good qualities of other people and not be worried that those good qualities will outshine us. Because by praising, there are two things. By praising oneself, one kills oneself. When Yudhishthira Maharaj was once attacked on the battlefield by Karna, he was wounded so badly that he practically was losing his life. He had to go back to the tent and he had to be attended to by the doctors and nurses. So when he was getting his wound and Arjun heard that Yudhishthira Maharaj has been wounded to the point where he almost died today. So Arjun and Krishna went straight into the tent. And as soon as Arjun walked in, Yudhishthira Maharaj said, "Anuj, good. That means you've killed Karna. You've avenged me. It's very good. Acha kiya tumne. Tumne Karan ko maar karke, that's why you've come to tell me that you've killed Karna who's hurt me." And Arjun said, "No." He said, "I just heard that you've been really badly wounded, so I just came to see you." And Yudhishthira Maharaj got so upset with him. He said, "Then what's the point of your dhanush? What's the point of your bravery? Itne tum bakhan karte ho apne aap ko. Yeah, I can do this and I can destroy this, I did this. You are useless. Put your Gandhi aside." And Arjun had taken a vow that if anyone tells me to put my Gandhi down, I have to kill them. So now he was in a position, Yudhishthira Maharaj knew them, but in anger he said, "Put your Gandhi down. Take do apne Gandhi ko. Kisi kaam ka nahi hai. If you can't avenge your brother, what's the point?" So then Arjun basically went through Dharma Sankat, I have to kill my own older brother in the middle of the war. So what did he do? He turned to Krishna and he says, what do I do? So Krishna said, you have to kill Yudhishthira Maharaj. He goes, how can I kill my own brother? He says, well, Shastra describes two ways of killing. Because Arjun actually thought, I'm going to have to physically kill my brother. Because lekin jahan Shyam Sundar hai na, even though it goes this way, but ultimately you will be absolutely fine. So Krishna said to him, there's two ways. Either you can physically kill him, or the other way to kill him is to insult him. So, go on. Which one do you choose? So Arjun said, I'll insult him. So Arjun started insulting Yudhishthira Maharaj. Started saying, you're a weakling. It's because of you, Draupadi got undressed. As he was swearing at Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was crying at the same time. Tum na mard ho. Tum Draupadi ka raksha nahi kar paaye. You lost her in a gambling match. This, that, the other. He was saying so many things to Yudhishthira Maharaj which were insulting him. Calling him a weak person. In the name of Dharma, you're always hiding, you're not doing warrior duties properly. मतलब ऐसे ही मार दिया. उसको यश को मार दिया. जिसका यश चला जाता है, anyone whose fame is destroyed, that Kshatriya is as good as dead. That's what Krishna said to Arjun in the beginning. For a Kshatriya, loss of fame is worse than death. So therefore, if you don't fight right now, if you basically say कि हमको युद्ध नहीं करना है इस बार, then if people won't understand your compassion, do you think the Duryodhana and them will say that, oh, such a compassionate person Arjuna is? Do you think they'll say that? No. They'll call you a coward. Tumhara kirti chala jayega. And for a warrior like you, apayash is worse than death. Lack of fame, infamy is worse than death. So you should fight. So he insulted Yudhishthira Maharaj so much. And then Arjun, after crying and crying, he turned to Krishna and he said, I've just killed my own older brother and I have to atone for this sin. What should I do? Krishna said, great. Now, to atone for this, you should actually kill yourself as well. So Arjun said, how do I kill myself? Krishna said, you've got two options. Either you take a dagger and stab yourself to death, or praise yourself. That's the second way to kill yourself. So in the Shastra there is a niyam that person who praises themselves, actually the same things which he is praising, those good qualities come out of that person. However, when we praise other people genuinely, whatever qualities we're praising of the other person, those good qualities come into us. That's why Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, see how much love and praise there was. Hey Rajan. Hey Anga. Anga is a very beautiful word. Anga means part of my body. Oh Parikshit, you become so dear to me, you're as dear to me as part of my own body. Hey Rajan. Rajan doesn't just mean that one who is a king. It means one who is beautifully decorated. But Shukadev Goswami meant one who is decorated internally very beautifully. So, the point is, the Diji Muni was saying that you should be happy. One should be happy if they can help another person. This body is going to die anyway. Might as well do something good at the time of death. So, the Diji Muni immediately then, after agreeing, through Yog Siddhi, he went into Samadhi. Bhagavad Smriti mein chale gaye. And at the same time, he burnt through his Yog Bal se, through his Shakti, he completely burnt his whole body. And the only thing that remained was now the bones. And those bones were then taken by the demigods, praising the Diji, wahi haddi le karke wo swarg gaye. And then they told Vishwakarma, now make the thunderbolt that was instructed by Vishnu. And Vishwakarma made a special thunderbolt. As soon as that happened, all the demigods regaining, then they made their new weapons, and all the demigods then said, now is the time to attack Vritrasura. So they all got together, huge army of demigods were moving now towards Vritrasura. And this is where we enter this katha. बोलिए रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश की जय, सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान गोविंदाय की जय. So they were attacking, and Vritrasura got news that the demigods have now got this thunderbolt and they're going to attack you. So meanwhile, Vritrasura gathered a big army of Asurs. And this was a Deva Asur Sangram, a fight between the demigods and the demons. And in this particular fight, they both attacked each other. So first, the demons attacked with their full power. And they threw all their weapons so powerfully right to the demigods. But you know what happened? They did not, because of the demigods' power, the weapons didn't even reach the demigods. Didn't even touch them. They fell short, nishfal ho gaye. Nothing happened. But fir bhi, the Asurs still had some josh, they still had some enthusiasm in them left. So they took rocks, they took trees, some of them took these little mountains, and they started throwing them. As soon as they threw them, easily the demigods counteracted them with their weapons. Matlab asani se, without any difficulty, they completely just poof, karke maar diya sab astra shastra ko. All the rocks and the trees and everything. And suddenly, it dawned upon the Asurs, we're not going to be able to win this war. We're going to lose. And we're not going to lose just Gujarati mein apne kehne em tem nathi harwana. We're going to lose really badly. And then they started running away. And so then Vritrasura spoke this. Kala upapannam ruchiram manasvinam. Jagada vacham purusha pravira. He viprachite namuche puloma mayarnavan shambara me srinudvam. Kala upapannam. First, Vritrasura spoke words which were very appropriate for the time, the place, and the circumstances. Kala upapannam. Upapannam means appropriate. You can't say anything at any time. You have to really choose and pick your words carefully. Then, Ruchira. He said very appropriate words which we will understand in the next verses. And Manasvina. Manasvina means of high spiritual elevation, spiritual knowledge. Jagada Vacham Purusha Pravina. Vritrasura was a very able person. Praveen, which means he was capable in many ways. He wasn't just capable in terms of power. He had extreme intelligence and he had spiritual knowledge. Purusha Pravina. And so he said, He Viprachite, Namuche, Puloman, Mayarnavan, Sambhar. These were names of different demons. Me Shinudvam, listen to me, listen to me. Before this, the Asurs had never run away in battle. Never. They'd never shown their back in any battle, because the true mark of hero, which is both the demigods and the Asurs, they weren't cowards. They were very powerful. But right in the beginning of the war, normally even if you lose your weapons, sometimes you lose your weapons in the middle of the war or towards the end of the war. Right in the beginning, before the Devtas had even thrown one weapon, they had lost everything. So, they felt that they were going to die. Hum aaj marne wale hain. And then they thought to themselves, even if we run, it's no big deal. Because Vritrasur was so big, he was so powerful, they said last time he swallowed their weapons, this time he'll probably do the same thing as well. Vritrasur काफी है इन सब देवताओं के लिए, वो अकेले ही निपट सकते हैं सब देवताओं को. चलो हम भागते हैं. They all telling each other, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then the demigods started chasing them. And they started chasing them, and even though they had their backs turned towards the demigods, they started throwing their weapons and killing them from behind. But Vritrasur wanted to stop them. When he turns his back on you, you don't stab that person. Sometimes we question, right? Like, what would happen in a war if you're fighting with someone, okay, but someone just suddenly comes and stabs you from behind? Isn't that the easiest way to kill everyone? Just wait for anyone whose back that you see and just keep stabbing them with your sword and kill so many people. But a true warrior has this pride within him, that I only want to kill a person who is fighting with me. इसमें वीरता स्थापित होता है ना. वीर कायरता इसको कहते हैं जो पीठ पे वार करते हैं. And because Vritrasur's body was so big, he could be heard for huge distances. So he was shouting as if, जैसे मेघ गर्जना होता है ना, just how thunder can be heard in so many directions. Sometimes Krishna's, it says Megha Gambhirya Uvacha, when Krishna spoke to Indra. This is mentioned. Megha Gambhirya Uvacha doesn't mean that Krishna was literally speaking like the clouds. It means that just like thunder can be heard for huge distances, Krishna's voice can be heard very, very clearly and very strongly. So now we will discover in these verses what is the difference between Indra and Vritrasur, the pristine instructions of Vritrasur. Vritrasur wanted Bhagavan and Indra wanted Svarga. So he said, listen to me, before you go, suno meri baat, srinudvam. The Asur said, if we stand still, we will die. The demigods are attacking us. We don't want to die. And Asurs have this nature, marna nahi chahte hain. Asurs don't want to die. Hiranyakashipu didn't want to die. That's why he asked Brahma, make sure I don't die inside, outside, at night, in the day, by any weapon, by man or woman. All these conditions because he didn't want to die. Kans didn't want to die. Kans would ask his जो पहरेदार लोग होते थे ना, उसको पूछते थे रात को. In the middle of the night, Kans would get up so many times and ask him, did you hear any sounds? Is everything okay? He would put guards outside. Then he would shut all the windows inside. And then from the inside, he would put a padlock thinking that this would stop Krishna. अरे भाई, ठाकुर जी ने दरवाजा को तोड़ दिया था. He broke the shackles of Vasudev. He opened every single jail gate. And here you are with your mini padlock thinking that this will save you. Kans was so scared. Why? Because those people who love life are scared. So they were running away. And then Vritrasur said, Jatasya mritur dhruvayeva sarvata pratrikriya yasya nacheha kliptaha loko yashaschat tato yadihi amum konam mrityumna vrinita yuktam. Jatasya mrityur dhruvayeva sarvata. Listen, suno. Anyone who is born, jatasya, जिसने जन्म लिया है, मृत्युर ध्रुवा. Dhruva means it is certain that they will die. The Asur said, fair enough, they will die, but there are places where death is easier and there are places where death is more difficult. Death is difficult, death is very easy over here. We can see it in front of us. We don't want to face death. That's why we're running, because we think we can save ourselves. Vritrasur said, Sarvataha. Don't think that if you run away, you'll escape death, because Mrityu Sarvataha, death is everywhere. And also, you should know, Pratikriya Yasya Na Jayeha Klipta. मृत्यु का प्रतिक्रिया ईश्वर ने नहीं बनाया है. There is no antidote to death. For many other things, for all other things, there is an antidote. If you are old, there are antidotes. च्यवन मुनि ने क्या किया? हमारे गुरु महाराज कहते हैं कि च्यवन मुनि जब वृद्ध हो गए, उसने च्यवनप्राश खाया और फिर he became young again. च्यवन मुनि had a particular substance which made him young again. And even if we don't have च्यवनप्राश, Botox है, plastic surgery है, कितने चीज है that can make us young again. Okay, those are artificial things. But there are so many, एक प्रतिक्रिया है सब चीजों में. In Mombasa, it's a little bit hot these days. So we have a fan. If the fan is not enough, go to the room. Every room here has an AC. Mombasa doesn't become cold, but go to Russia in the winter. Go to European countries in the winter. It's freezing. उसका प्रतिक्रिया क्या है? There's central heating in most homes. So everything has a pratikriya. If you don't like something, you can change it. But here, Vritrasura is explaining, death is the one thing that doesn't have any antidote. Bhagavan ne banaya hi nahi. The Lord has not made it. And then he says, Loka yashas chata tatha yadi hi emo. Look, for a warrior, श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश गौर नेताय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय. So Vritrasura said, has anybody in this world escaped death? Death is everywhere. Death is inevitable. Kaha bhagoge? Where will you run? No matter where you run, if you are destined to die, you will die. And that's why the verse mentioned Ruchiram. These instructions are exact in accordance with the Siddhanta of Shastra. So they were very pleasing to hear, especially for sadhus. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu. Death is certain. And dhruva janma mritasya cha. This is even Krishna's instruction to in the Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse. That there's nothing you can do. He says the same thing. In fact, if you see, there's a battlefield and Krishna gave amazing instructions to Arjun. There's a battlefield and now Vritrasura is giving similar instructions to Indra. So he said that what kind of death do you want? He's asking his army. तुम कैसे मृत्यु चाहते हो? What type of death do you want? Do you want a death where you're running away because you're going to die anyway, but do you want a death where you're running away and then you get killed from the back? There is no fame in that. Look, two things will happen. Either you'll gain victory and that victory will make you powerful and more glorious, or Veer Gati Prapti. If you die on the battlefield, you will attain heaven. Where's the loss? Krishna said the same thing to Arjun. Bhoksha se mahim. If you win, you can enjoy this earth for as long as you live. And if you die, then you'll go to heaven. What's the problem? Because any soldier who dies on the battlefield, they get Virgati Prapti, which means they get the heavenly abode. Why? Because they're protecting their citizens. Whether they succeed or not is another thing. But if you protect and you die, you will get Swargalok. So it says a Kshatriya ka shobha ye hai कि वो रणभूमि में उसका शरीर छोड़े. उसकी यही शोभा है. A Kshatriya should die on the battlefield and a Brahman should die in the forest. A Vaishnav should die in the forest. Matlab, a Vaishnav should die while doing bhajan. Every Vaishnav wants this, and we should also pray that may your Naam Roop Guna Leela, we should pray to the Lord that when I leave this body, I pray that I may be surrounded by devotees. Your lips, I mean, your holy name may be on the lips of those who are around me, because they may not be on my lips, because I might be struggling. May your glories enter my ears. May the holy vibration of Naam, Kirtan, be all around me when I pass away. Jayadev Goswami writes this beautiful verse which Srila Prabhupada used to sing sometimes. He says that at the time of death, when I'm all choked up, I might not be able to remember you. But right now, I'm remembering you, so please take my life at this point. Abhi le jao whilst I'm singing for you. So then he says, Dvau sammato iha mrityu durapaho yad brahma sandharanya jitasu kalevaram yoga rata vijaya yad agranir veeraschaye nivruta. Dhritarashtra said there are only two types of glorious deaths in this world. Dvau sammato iha mrityu durapaho. But these two deaths are not easy. So if you get the opportunity to have a death within one of these two systems, you should consider yourself very fortunate. Because ye asani se aise mrityu nahi milta hai. So then the demons may have asked, what type of death is this? So they said, Yad Brahma Sandharanya Jitasu. When one concentrates on the Supreme Lord and leaves his body while meditating on Bhagavan, Ante Narayana Smriti, Yam Vapi Smaram Bhavam Tyajanta Mukta Kalevaram. Ya Prayati Samata Bhavo. So here it says that there are two types of death. One is remembering the Lord, and the second is that when you die on the battlefield. Concentrating on the Lord is much higher because you attain the Lord's planet at that time. But if you die on the battlefield, this is also glorious because you will get Swargalok. These two are very, very rare. A fighter never turns his back. That's what he was trying to tell them. Don't turn your back, face your enemy, die and attain Swarga. Dying now is much better than running away because you will lose your fame. And also it's seen that when you die in the right way, there is a lot of assistance from people. Dying in the right way is actually very helpful. In fact, even in India or in any country, when you die serving the army, what to speak of getting heavenly planets, even the country honors you. You know, people shoot bullets, there's like a proper funeral. The government gives you a funeral, an honorable funeral. So in the same way that doing bhakti, your entire life is so beneficial for you. Because everything brings auspiciousness, bhakti brings auspiciousness. And how is this auspiciousness translated? That you become close to devotees. Devotees find out these are the last few hours. The doctor said he's not going to live more than 1 or 2 days. Bhakta log aa jate, jud jate hain, and they all say to each other, chalo kirtan, let's do kirtan for this person who's passing away. How auspicious is that? So one should learn how to die properly. This is what Vitra is saying. Then Shri Shuka Uvacha Tamevam Shamshito Dharma Vacha Pratyur Achetasa Nai Vagrananta Sambhranta Palayana Paranitra. These words had no effect on the Asurs. They were extremely scared out of fear. Dar karke ekdam dur bhag gaye. Ran far, far away where the demigods could not reach them. And only Vritrasur was left. The demigods, they attacked the Asurs from behind. Some Asurs died because the demigods attacked them. Why? Because the demigods were so angry with the Asurs. Itna halla macha diya tha pure prithvi mein that they were just angry. And Devdas normally who uphold dharma would normally never do something like this. But as we know, anger destroys intelligence. भगवान ये गीता में स्पष्ट बात लिखते हैं, very clearly. काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुण samudbhava. As soon as काम and क्रोध enter the mental system, rajoguna, then rajagun and tamagun enter into the mental system, and then you start doing things which are not in accordance with dharma. So then, Vishiryamanam Pritanam Asurim Asura Rishabha Kala Anukule Stri Dashe Kalyamanam Anathavat. Anathavat means they all scattered, all the demigods ran away. And Vritrasur then, with force, he blocked all the demigods from causing further damage. He blocked all of them. Drishtva Tapyata. Vritrasur saw that his army was suffering. Sankruda Indra Shatrur Amarshite. He got so angry. Amarshite ka matlab hai ekdam gussa hona. Then Nivarya Yojasa, Rajan, O king, then he blocked them, he protected them. And then Uvachaha, then he spoke very loudly. Kimva uchariter matur dhavad bhi prishtato hate na hi bhita vadaha slagyo na swarga sura manina. Why? Vritrasur was screaming now. Why? Why are you attacking them from behind? They are useless. They are like the stool that is passed from a mother's body. They are waste products. Because a mother should give birth to those children who abide by their dharma. And if they don't abide by their dharma, then what's the point? Those children are as useless as stool. In other words, they should be rejected. They're so low. Vritrasur really was trying to say that they are like stool for running away from the battlefield. Ye mutra jaise hai. And by the way, you should also know, demigods, you're also like stool for attacking them from behind and forgetting your religious principles. Tum bhi mutra ki tarah ho. You're the same. Bhitavadha. You're killing them from behind. How is that glorious? Why are you doing this? Real heroes never attack from behind. So I can see uselessness in both of you. Why are you doing this? Yada va pradhane shraddha sarova शुल्का हृदि अग्रे तिष्ठ से मात्रा में नाचेत ग्राम्य सुखे स्पृहा. So now he's telling them, if you are scared, यदि तुम डर गए हो, if you are scared, then come in front of me and admit to me that I am scared. I won't touch you. मैं तुमको छूंगा भी नहीं, because you're scared and you don't want to fight. If you want sense enjoyment in this world, agar tumhara ichha baki reh gaya hai, if you still want to enjoy this world, however, don't stand in front of me. Don't stand in front of me. Go and enjoy this world. This place is not for you. But if you do not have any desires to enjoy this world and you want to do your dharma, then come and stand in front of me. I will release you from the clutches of this illusion and I will send you to a better place because you have died on the battlefield. But the question is, Yadi Shraddha, do you have faith that you will go to heaven? Do you have faith in the words of the scriptures? And if you do, fight with me. Fight with me, Shulaka. Hey Shulaka, oh you weak-minded, coward, insignificant bunch of stool. Matlab itna gali de rahe hai. Vritrasur was really swearing at them. He said, come here, come in front of me. If you have no desire if you have no desire for any of these sense gratificatory things in this world, come in front of me and I'll show you what real fighting is. But if you desire things of this world, if you want to enjoy yourself, you have attachment to your wives, you have attachment to your family, ये सब अगर चीज आपको पसंद है तो भाग जाओ यहाँ से. I won't stop you, I won't touch you. जाओ. And then evam sura ganam kruda bhishan vapusa ripu yadana su ma prano yena loka vicheshtaha. Then, after saying this, Vritrasura roared so loudly that it literally cracked the eardrums of every single person that was in close proximity with them. And it pained them to the point that they fell to the ground. So loud was his roar. And at the same time, he shattered any courage that they had in their heart. You know, like if at any time you're at home and let's say some thieves enter your house. We pray to the Lord, thieves never enter anyone's house. But let's say some thieves enter, but they come so calmly. They don't say anything. They just come and say, they just point a gun and say, give us your money. It's still scary, but at least you think if I just give them some money, they might run away. But imagine they come roaring and screaming. That will shatter your heart. So this was called the Vritra Vishport. It was so loud that every single person fell and their eardrums started cracking and their heads started paining. That's how loud it was. Teneva Deva Gana Sarve, every single one of them, Deva Gana. Vritra Vishpotenave. Certainly after hearing the loud cry from Vritrasura, Nipetur. Nipetur means just fell to the ground where they were and they practically fainted. Murchita Bhomo. And they fell on the ground wherever they were. Yatheva Asananina Hata. Except Indra, every single demigod fell down because they felt as if a crack of a thunderbolt had hit them. They were all on their elephants, their horses, their chariots, every single one of them fell. Then, Mamarda Padabhyam Sura Sainyam Aturam. Then what did Vritrasura do? He started squashing them under his feet. पैर के नीचे कुचलना शुरू किया. Mamarda means he started squeezing them under his feet. They both, and not just one. Vritrasura's feet were huge. God knows how many hundreds of meters or kilometers they must have been. But many thousands of demigods came under his feet and they were being squeezed. With both of them, Sura Sainya, the army of the demigods. Nimilita Aksham. And they closed their eyes because of extreme fear. Ranaranga Durmada. So it says that just how an elephant tramples Vanam Yuta Patir Yatho Unmadaha. When an elephant gets angry, it starts running. And on the way in the forest, he starts trampling lots of bamboo. So as he started, now the thing is, isn't Vritrasura a devotee? Bhaktanehan, why was he crushing the demigods? He wasn't actually killing them. He was just squeezing them. So, and he wasn't doing it very hard. He wasn't doing it very softly and he wasn't doing it very hard. Enough to get them pained, but not enough to kill them. So they all closed their eyes because they thought, Hum bas mar rahe hain. We're going to die now. That's it. Any last wishes for any of the demigods? Yes, no, we're going to die. So the word here for bamboo is nalam. Sometimes the word venu is used for bamboo, but this is a different type of bamboo. Nala is a soft bamboo. Normally, a lot of types of bamboos are very hard. This bamboo is a type that when you step on it, it's soft, it goes down, and then this bamboo comes back up again. So it means, why is this used? Example, the elephants trample on this bamboo, but the bamboo gets squashed, but eventually the bamboo comes back up again. In the same way, it's showing that these demigods didn't die. Eventually they got up again, because he didn't completely squash them. The bamboo doesn't break. So he was massaging them, he was squeezing them. Matlab massage bhi tha, but a very strong massage. You know, sometimes you get those massages. You go to if anyone's gone to a spa before, or if anyone has a masseuse come home, कभी कभी वो मालिश करने वाले घर पे आते हैं ना, तो हम उसको कहते हैं आज हमारा जो मसल्स है ना एकदम टाइट हो गया, तो थोड़ा अच्छी तरह से हमको स्क्वीज करो, right? Give us a sports massage, right? And sometimes they use their elbows and their hands and they squeeze you so tight you think, oh, I think my muscles are going to break. But afterwards you say it was a very nice massage. So Vritrasur was giving them a very tight squeeze. Vilokyatam vajradharo adyamarshita swashatrave vidravate maha gadam chikshepatam apatatim sudusaha jagraha vamena karena leelaya. In front of him, Indra saw that the war which we were so easily winning had completely reversed. When the demigods first just broke all their weapons, half the weapons fell short, the others were all broken, and all the army started running away, Indra must have thought for a few seconds, ये तो बहुत आसानी से हमको विजय मिल गया. Really easy victory. But then one person, Vritrasur, changed the course of the entire proceedings. Just with one scream, everyone fell and then he started crushing everyone. So Vilokya, Indra saw this. Tam Vajradharo, that person who had held the Vajra in his hand, Ati Amarshita, and now Indra started getting very angry. Swashatrave, he saw that his enemy was there. And then what did Indra do? Indra had two weapons. He had his thunderbolt and he had his gada. So first he started whirling his gada like this to gain momentum. If you just throw a gada like this, it doesn't get much momentum. So pehle Indra ne shuru kiya gada ghumana, aise. And then as soon as the gada got a lot of momentum, then Indra released it really hard to Vritrasur. And it came with the speed of a bullet. Itna veg se aaya wo gada. And what did Vritrasur do? Chikshepatam apatatam sudusaha. When Vritrasur saw that it was coming at him really quickly, he caught it with his left hand, even though nobody else would have been able to do this. Matlab Indra ka gada ka prahar koi mamuli vastu nahi hai. It's not an easy thing, but Vritrasur caught it. Sa Indra Shatru Kupito Prisham Kaya Mahendra Vahan Gadayoru Vikrama. As soon as he caught it, Vritrasur then threw the gada really hard, but he didn't release it onto Indra. He released it onto Indra Vaha, Airavat, which was the carrier of Lord Indra. And as soon as it hit Airavat on the head, Jangama Kumbhasthala Unadam Ridhe, right in the middle of the head, Ridhe, the Karme Sarve Sampujayan Nripaha. It hit him right in the middle of the head and his head split open. Airavato Vritra Gadhavi Marshito. By this endeavor of the Gada, Airavat, from Vritra, Airavat, we मतलब सिर घूम गया. आद्री पुलिस सहतो यथा. And apasarat bhinna mukha saha Indro. He went back 14 feet. Srila Prabhupada explains, when you translate the verse, it comes to 14 to 15 feet. How far Airavat went back, with Indra. Munchan, he fainted. Ashrik sapta dhanur Vrishataha. So Vritrasur, who was as big as a mountain, he was literally Adri. So you can imagine, Indra was throwing a gada. Vritrasur, who was huge, when I'm talking huge, touching the clouds and even bigger, took this and he threw it right back at Indra and it thumped him. And when he thumped him so hard, even the demigods started praising Vritrasur for this heroic act. It doesn't matter that he was an enemy. Even sometimes when the enemy does something quite astounding, everybody claps. Like right now, the Football World Cup is going on, right? Some people are supporting Brazil, some people are supporting whoever. जो विशुद्ध भक्त है उसको परवाह भी नहीं है कि क्या चल रहा है. They don't even know that the World Cup is happening. But for many people, the World Cup is a big thing, right? Big football fan. So imagine you're supporting Spain, and let's say it's Spain versus England. You're supporting Spain. But imagine one of the main players of England dribbles around 6 players and suddenly flicks the ball up and then does a back kick and shoots it in the goal. Even if you're not supporting England, you still say, you know what, that was a very good goal. In the same way, Vritrasur was praised by the demons, of course. दूर से देख रहे थे, बहुत दूर से. But the Asurs praised this act as well. Also because Vritrasur's bhakti was now coming out. Slowly, you'll see how his bhakti emerges. And Airavat then had blood coming out of his mouth. And Mukha Ashrik, Munchan Ashrik, Ashrik means blood, was coming out from his mouth, and it was extremely painful for Airavat. And his head was actually split open. And Indra fell off. Now just think, at this point, all Vritrasur had to do was with his trident, he could have just attacked and finished them. But he didn't do anything. Vritrasur just stood there. Na sannam vahaya vishana chetase prayunta bhuya sa gadam mahatma. That's, in this verse, Vritrasur is called a Mahatma because he wasn't interested in victory. Indro Mrita Syandi Karam Vimarsita Vidya Vyata Shatavaho Avastate. So what did Indra do? As soon as this happened, they had fainted for quite some time, and Vritrasur was just there and just waiting patiently. Airavat gained consciousness, and the first thing Indra did was with his hand, he started caressing Airavat's head. And he gave Airavat 2 things. Indra has a type of nectar, a healing medicinal nectar in his palm. So as soon as he touched Airavat, his wound sealed up. And even after his wound sealed up, which was straight away, he started giving him love and affection to encourage him. Everyone needs love and affection, and even animals like love and affection. Sahi baat hai na, so many times dogs come up to us with their tails wagging, and they want some affection from us. And if we stroke their ears and stroke their cheeks and stroke their body, their fur and everything, even they feel very nice about it. Even elephants, when you pat them, they feel it. Every animal except maybe snakes and crocodiles, they can reciprocate with affection. They understand affection. So at this point, Vritrasur started to really soften. He thought to himself, I don't want to win this war, and actually I can't win this war. Mujhe jeetna hi nahi. His mind started changing. But Indra was too embarrassed at this point to lift any weapon and attack Vritrasur. He was embarrassed by this. Because itna josh se aaye the, with so much enthusiasm, all the demigods came. And just with one gada which Indra threw, Vritrasur grabbed it quite easily and just threw it back on his elephant. And bas, he practically knocked Airavat out, and even Indra, first round mein knockout ho gaya. So he was so embarrassed. But now we had a problem. Vritrasur suddenly desired now to die. Vritrasur marna chahte the. Why did he want to die? Because Vritrasur's body was tamasic, because he had an asuric body. As we were describing, his body's nature was to always emit terrible sounds, to always remain angry. Rajagun and Tamagun were natural to him. But inside his heart, uski antakaran mein shuddha bhakti tha. He had pure devotion within his heart. But now also, Indra started developing affection for Vritrasur. So Vritrasur wanted to die, didn't want to win the war, and now Indra started developing affection for Vritrasur. And he didn't want to kill Vritrasur either. So nobody was lifting anything. So now, Vritrasur's instructions come. And I'll just say one verse and then we will stop and continue. And the main part of the pristine instructions of Vritrasur tomorrow morning. These instructions, as we said, are extremely important for us to understand, because Vritrasur describes how the Lord deals with different categories of devotees. How the Lord deals with a pure devotee, how the Lord deals with devotees who are of a middle category, and how he deals with people who are indifferent to him. So Shri Vritra Uvacha Drishtya Bhavan Me Samavastito Ripur Yo Brahma Gurur Bhratrihacha Drishyarno Dyaham Asatam Advaya Machulla Nirhinna Drisha Dridachira. Vritrasur ne kaha bahut acha hai. Very good. Very good that you're in front of me. You who have killed a Brahman, you who have killed your spiritual master, you who have killed my brother, are standing in front of me. Good. Acha. I'm going to pierce your heart, which is like a stone. Tumhara hriday jo hai na, jo patthar ki tarah hai. You see this trident in my hand? I'm going to stick this trident right in your chest, in your heart, which is like a stone, and that stone will shatter to pieces. And then when I do this, I'll be free of debt to my brother. So at this point, Indra was ready to counteract and defend himself, but he didn't want to start the fight. And Vritrasur remembered at this point suddenly. So our mind goes through different emotions at times. Sometimes our mind is very tranquil, but then it remembers something that's painful, and suddenly our mind doesn't feel so happy. So he remembered that this Indra cut the 3 heads of my brother. Usko yaad aaya. So then he got upset. So Vritrasur's uska sthayi bhav ka matlab hai natural, constant feeling was that I want to die and go to the Lord. But whenever he would remember, just occasionally, what Indra had done to Vishwarup, he would suddenly get angry. So these first few verses, you will see not much bhakti talk in Vritra's words. You will say, "Ke isme bhakti kahan hai?" But you will see how he progresses. So he insulted Indra. He said, "Acha hai, I've been looking for you. All this time, different people were coming in front of me. Acha hua कि आप सामने आ गए हमारे." Why is he saying this? Because he realized that Indra wasn't ready to fight, so he wanted to raise Indra's passion. So he said, "Your heart, दिसक, तुम्हारे हृदय जो है ना पत्थर की तरह है. You're the worst type of person. Asattama. There are three types of bad people: Asat, Asattam, and Asattama. Asat just means someone who is, a little bit sinful. Asattam means someone who is very sinful, and Asattama is a person who is so sinful that nothing that they do can repair that damage. He goes, you are tum asattama ho, tum sabse gire hue ho. Tum asat bhi ho aur tamsik bhi ho, tama, gire hue. What Indra did was actually not terrible. In a way, what he did to Vishwarup was of course done in anger. But one thing, the other side to look at it was he was protecting the demigods. That's why he did it. So now tomorrow, we'll see suddenly from anger and from, the typical speak of a Kshatriya, suddenly extreme and pure bhakti starts coming out of Viprasar's mouth. Okay, so I'll stop for today. I've gone 5 minutes over time, isliye Shama manta hu. And I thank everyone for listening patiently to this katha of Viprasar. Bole Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Boliye Rukmani Dwarkadesh ki, Boliye Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Boliye Gaur Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Krishna. Everyone can proceed for Prashad. Anand Prabhu has an announcement, so please wait 1 minute.
Hare Krishna. So as you know, tomorrow is a very auspicious day. Tomorrow is Ekadasi. So everyone are requested to come in Mangal Aarti. And tomorrow is also this Kirtan Mela journey will continue morning. So everyone should participate in the Kirtan Mela in morning time also. And then tomorrow is Sunday. So we have the program in the afternoon at Lighthouse. Those who would want to participate in Harinam and book distribution, after 9 tomorrow they can give their name, so I can arrange their transport. So we'll proceed from here 4:30 to Lighthouse, 4:30 to 6:30. We will do the Kirtan and the book distribution. So after 9 you can give your name. Otherwise, if you have transport, you can come directly there. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki.